Hello buddy, my name's Pookzta right here, and today we're back with a brand new video. And ever since FNAF got announced to be crossing over with Dead by Daylight, I wanted to make this video where I'd go over a top 5 killer wish list of killers I would like to see in Dead by Daylight. Now I won't be discussing perks for these killers, I'll only be discussing their powers and also which killers are going to be that I would like to see. So don't expect perks or add-ons at all, maybe besides from a mention, but nothing's named, otherwise we'd be here forever. Anyway, yeah, so this is going to be a top 5 killer wish list of killers I'd like to see in Dead by Daylight. So without further ado, let's start off the list. Now this is like a joke, I don't actually want this to happen, but if it did, it would be incredible. One of the killers I would like to see on the list is the Warden from Minecraft. This started as a joke because I wanted to have at least 5 killers, and I was looking, I was like, wait a minute, the Warden's quite horror themed, so I thought, you know what, let's do the Warden as like a joke. It would be cool if it happened. I doubt it ever will. In some alternative reality, it might be a possibility, but not today in modern Dead by Daylight. Anyway, what would the Warden's power be? Well, similar to how it attacks you in Minecraft, you charge up a sonic beam, similar to like Dracula's Hellfire. You charge it up, and then when you're ready, you release it and you hit your target. It has a cooldown of like I don't know, 20 seconds. It's a pretty basic killer. There's not much to do with it really. It's very basic, a very basic killer. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. So yeah, I doubt it's ever going to happen, but the Warden from Minecraft probably would be one of the greatest collabs DBD have ever done. But yeah, that's sort of it. So now we're going to move on to our next killer. Now, whether or not you consider him a killer, I think this next killer that I'm going to bring up would probably fit Dead by Daylight the most. And that is Doom Guy from the Doom franchise. I think Doom would actually fit incredibly well into Dead by Daylight. But what would his power be? I think his power would be able, similar to Oni with the blood orbs, I think his power would be you hit a survivor and they drop what I call fear power. This is playing into the meme of his song, the only thing they fear is you. But pretty much every time you hit a survivor, they drop a fear power. If you hit 4 survivors, it doesn't have to be unique survivors. So you can hit the same survivor 4 times to get fear power. Pretty much once you hit them 4 times, you gain a fear power. This can be activated at any time. When you do, all survivors become exposed for 60 seconds. And any survivor you hit gets down. So it's very similar to Michael Myers' power. Any survivor you hit gets downed instantly. Now, just to make sure this isn't OP, you once the cooldown ends, if you hit a survivor, no fear power will show up for the next minute. So 60 seconds. So it's a 60-second cooldown with a 60-second use. But yeah, that's it for that killer. I think Doom Guy would probably fit Dead by Daylight a lot. Now we're going to move on to the next killer. For one of my next killers on the list is from a mascot horror game, Bendy and the Ink Machine, of the killer being the Ink Demon, aka Bendy. Now, how this took me a while to figure out, since I did not know what his powers would be. But I think I figured it out. Pretty much, one of his powers would be that there'd be projectors around the map that he could teleport to, because the Ink Demon can get from place to place pretty easily in the games, so it makes sense to have some sort of teleportation. Now, the one thing that I needed to figure out was a secondary power, because teleportation's nice, but at that point it would just be an M1 killer. All he'd do is be able to hit you. And that would be a bit boring if all his power was to teleport and then give you a little tap on the head and then leaves to go tap someone else and then just injures you all that way. That could probably be one of the snowball effects. Anyway, another thing about his power though was I wanted to be unique. Pretty much, if he uses his ability by holding down the right mouse button, he can infect pallets and can infect vault locations. Pretty much, his power, if he affects pallets, he can walk straight through the pallets. If he affects windows, he can walk straight through the windows. There's no vault animation, but these only last for like a short duration. They don't last forever. It has about 6 charges to it, and then it has to then it is on cooldown for like 30 seconds. And also the infected thing only lasts for 30 seconds. You could probably do cool things with it, but I didn't want it to be overpowered where it just lasts the entire game. So if you infect a pallet at the start of the match, thinking it would come in handy later, then you go to it like a minute later, yeah, it won't be infected anymore. You just get bonked on the head. But yeah, that's really it for Bendy's power, aka the Ink Demon. His power would be to be able to obviously infect pallets and vault locations, so he can literally just walk straight through them. And his power would be able to teleport around with projectors. But yeah, that is it for Bendy's power. Now moving on to our next killer. One of the other killers I'd really love to see on my list is from The Boys. The other one, the killer I'm talking about, is Homelander. I've seen like 2 videos talking about Homelander in Dead by Daylight, and I think it could be reasonably possible. Now, what would his powers and abilities be? Well, similar to how the Trickster works, his power would be able to shoot a red laser beam at people. That if it's on a survivor for more than, let's say, 5 seconds, maybe 3 seconds with an add-on, it deals a little chunk, similar to how the Trickster works. If you throw blades at them, like a little thing appears like on their name, pretty much. I don't know how to describe it, but I'll throw up an image anyway. It appears like a little chunk of it appears. If it's held on there for a minute, the survivor loses a health state. Now these stay throughout the entire match and cannot be lost. So Homelander can just... So if you're AFK and you're just standing still doing nothing, Homelander can just fire his beam and take you down in 2 minutes. It's really not that hard for him. So, yeah. The other ability is similar to Chucky's mode. He can go into a flight mode, which removes his terror radius, making him undetectable, even by aura reading perks. Maybe not the aura reading perks, but it makes him undetectable, which pretty much means he can... This form isn't really good though. It's going to be similar to how the Lich works, how Vecna works in the game, where he goes undetectable and can fly around, but he can't use his power, he can't attack anyone or anything. So yeah, it just allows him to get over like thrown down pallets or, you know, vault locations, pretty much stuff like that. And he can't really attack. His M1 ability, which would just be like a basic punch, and I think that's how his power would work. Now it's not just going to be Homelander. Pretty much around the map there will be cases similar to Nemesis, Wesker, Singularity, stuff like that. There will be cases around the map. 5 in total. 1 will be A-Train. By the way, these don't refresh, so once the character picks up what's ever out of that chest, it doesn't come back. And it also has a one-time use. So pretty much around the map there will be 5, maybe 4. One of the cases will be A-Train, which will, if you use its power, which is if you inject yourself with it, will give you 5% haste. Pretty much you can hold on to these for as long as you want, and it's like an insta, like you click, you gain the power. So when you press down on A-Trains, you gain a 10% haste, which means you just run faster, and also you vault faster. This might be a bit broken, especially if you have life on, but I don't care about balance. Next would be Green Mave, which if you inject yourself with it, gives you what is it? I'm trying to think. Endurance. It'll give you endurance if you inject yourself with it, and The last one will be Black Noir, which will heal a health state for you. Now there will be 5 around the map. One of them will only be Black Noirs. It will heal you a health state if you lose it, so you only use this in dire situations. And the other 4 will be either A-Trains or Cream Maves. And yeah, that's pretty much how I think Homelander would work in the game. So we're going to move on to our next killer. Now for the next killer on our list is a very interesting one. I try to take killers from all different parts of media, like games, shows. I think that's about it. But this one I decided to take from Roblox, and the other game I'm talking about is Doors, with the killer being Seek. Now I thought I'll do this because I want some Roblox representation. I mean, Seek is most likely off. It depends really, but Doors is collabing with Monsters Immortal, so they are gonna be in like a Dead by Daylight sort of game, so why not add them to the actual Dead by Daylight? So with Seek's abilities, you'd be able to do a rush attack very similar to Blight, because Seek's whole thing is that he rushes at you, so I thought it would be very, you know, fitting. You can also attack in this form, so it's very much similar to how Blight works. Maybe closer to Legion, maybe. There you have it for like a minute, I would say. You don't have to bump into things to get faster. Pretty much you just sprint, and yeah. So it's very similar to Blight. Another thing about him is that he can summon his Seek minions, very similar to how Knight works. He can summon his minions, and they can patrol a specific area of the map. It's very similar to Knight, but it works. Now, these stay forever. These Seek minions stay where they are forever. They don't ever like disappear. The only way to get rid of them is with Jeff's shop. Jeff's shop will spawn around the map, and it will have a crucifix that you can pick up and get. And you can use that on these Seek minions. Now, Seek can only ever have 4 of his minions down at a time, so there will be 4 Jeff shops around the map. His minions don't refill at all, so if he uses them all right off the bat, they will never refill. He will never gain them back, pretty much. But you can use the crucifixes to get rid of them, which means all 4 players can have them, get rid of the Seek minions, and then you don't have to deal with them along with Seek as well. So pretty much that's Seek's power. So he can rush like Blight, he can summon minions, but he can spawn 4 minions at a time, but he can't ever get them back. And crucifixes spawn around the map that you can use on these minions to get rid of them, because they don't despawn. Anyway, that is it for Seek, and that is it for the entire killer roster. And so guys, that is it for my killer wish list that I would like to see in Dead by Daylight. If you want me to do this again, I'll gladly do it. Like, I'll talk about survivors, maybe continuing on with some crossovers. Like for the boys, I could talk about Billy Butcher, where for them I will talk about perks, because because survivors have nothing to them other than perks and other than looking nice. So I might do a survivor version of this, where that one will discuss perks, and maybe in the future talk about more killers I would like to see come to the game. Maybe talk about the perks that could be added with these killers that I mentioned today. I just didn't want to bother with perks, that's all. But yeah, anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's video and me talking about my DBD killer tier list. Make sure to actually look out on the main channel with Pookzta, just in case I post Dead by Daylight content. I'm considering doing it soon, maybe not soon, but maybe next year, considering posting Dead by Daylight content. But yeah, anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I guess I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.